Okay, right now we want to show you what the conditions in Grant looked like last night. As you can see, the snow was just beginning to come down last night, but the conditions are pretty rough. Our crew out there was out in the snow on I-40, so if you're headed that way this morning, please be careful. Road conditions are slick out in the Duke City also. We've been talking about this throughout the morning. It snowed for most of the night. This is a look at what I-40 and Wyoming in northeast Albuquerque looks like right now. This is a view from the Department of Transportation camera.
All right, there are quite a few more tracks out on the interstate than when it started snowing, and we started checking those cameras at 2 o'clock this morning. Some of those tracks belong to our own David Romero. He is live out on the heights at Wyoming and Montgomery, I believe. David, is it slick? Is it icy? Is it snowy? What is it out there?
You know what, Matt, the road actually looks like it's improved over the last hour or so, or rather 2 hours that we've been out here now. It's gone from what was once covered with snow, and it looked like ice at one point, and with a lot of those plow trucks coming through here, and a lot of friction of the cars passing over the salt and cinder mix that they laid down. It's helped to melt off some of what was iced up on there earlier, and it's just a slushy, wet mess right now. Take a look at some video that we grabbed earlier. This is from Eubank and I-40. It was an accident that happened in that area. The interstates as of 4:30 this morning, well, I'm being told right now that we don't have that video, but at the time, about 4:30 this morning, that the road conditions on I-40 were pretty snow-packed and icy. Now, we imagine in the last hour or so, with as many plow trucks as we've seen come through here, there had to have been just as many going through the interstates and clearing the roadways from all that slush and ice that had accumulated overnight. Now, again, as Kristen mentioned, the conditions are looking more favorable out here. This is even as far in the Northeast Heights as we are at Montgomery and Wyoming, but you still want to take it a little bit slow because it is pretty cold out here, and you never know if some of that melted moisture on top of the roads could refreeze and cause some more trouble as we go throughout the morning. Back to you.
All right, thank you for the update, David. Again, just be careful out there. Take your time. The number of schools delays, they are closed. Number of schools they are delayed and closed because of this winter weather. APS on a 2-hour delay. Also, this just in Taos schools on a 2-hour delay, and Edgewood Moriarty schools, they're also on a 2-hour delay. Those are scrolling at the bottom of your screen, even during the commercials. Elizabeth.
There was a good amount of snow off of I-25 and Broadway just south of Albuquerque. The highway was very slick out there, and heads up, the highway still pretty slick out here in the Albuquerque area in some parts, especially over in the hill or on the hill near Bobby Foster in that area around 2 o'clock in the morning. We got a lot of reports that people were stuck and could not get their cars and trucks up the hill. By the time our news crew got out there, drivers had figured it out, giving up on the interstate entirely and getting off of Broadway and taking the street instead.
So good news for drivers this morning. It looks like, Kristen, that snow finally stopped falling in the city.
Yeah, it has. We may see a few flakes here and there, some spotty snow here and there as we go through the next couple of hours, but we're done with the heavy snow here. So some good news there, because it is pretty rough out there up in the heights and foothills out toward the East Mountains as well. Here's a look at what's happening on the radar, and you can see where things have cleared out for Albuquerque, but still some snow up to the north, up in the Jemez Mountains, and then out into the East Mountains. Sandia still seeing some snow come down that way. We've had more snow redevelop down towards Socorro here. Excuse me, and you can see it's getting a little bit heavier, more intense there right along I-25, so be careful. We've had several inches of snow fall just south of Albuquerque between Las Lunas and out towards Socorro, and more snow has developed out east on I-40 out toward Tucumcari and going on out toward the Texas border. Heavy snow here, so you're going to want to look out for that as you head out the door this morning and head on the road, so it's going to be very slick for you. 30 degrees right now here in Albuquerque, and that's downtown. You take a wider look at what's going on temperature-wise around the metro area. Up in the heights is a lot colder, and that's where we're seeing that snow stick to the roads and to the ground, and that's where we're seeing the messier conditions. So be careful. You go out west, a little bit more slushy and a little clearer for you, so not as bad. I'll have more details on this storm. Your full forecast is coming up in just a few minutes.
And you get the latest on the road conditions. We've talked about them, how bad they are all around the state. You can call 511. You can also head to our website at krqe.com. There you can also get the latest on all these schools that are closed and delayed. There's an updated forecast there. And of course, we're going to have everything you need to know, including live reports from David Romero out on the roads, plus meteorologist Kristen Van Dyke's forecast. It's all morning long right here on News 13.
In other news, this Thursday morning, former U.S. Senator Pete Domenici admits that he fathered a son outside his marriage, but isn't saying much else about it. He told the Albuquerque Journal that he had a son with GOP lobbyist Michelle Laxalt in the late 1970s. The former senator says he kept his relationship a secret until he recently told his wife and kids and then released this statement to the Journal. It says, quote, "My past action has caused hurt and disappointment to my wife, children, family, and others. For that, I am solely responsible," end quote. The senator also says he hopes New Mexicans will think of his accomplishments and how those accomplishments may outweigh his mistakes.
Well, here is a heads up for parents this morning. Security is getting more strict at some elementary schools in Albuquerque now, all because of the mass shooting in Connecticut from last year. And we got a look at Puesta del Sol Elementary in Rio Rancho yesterday. It and other elementary schools are no longer letting parents walk their kids to class inside the school. Instead, they can only go as far as the front gate. That's a big change. The district is also thinking about adding more security cameras to the school and replacing the chain link fence that is outside the school with a wall. Now, the elementary schools are doing this on their own. It is not a district policy.